Oh, hello there. Hello there, friendos. Apologies for the lighting. Um, the internet was kicking my ass just moments ago, and I had to have the gentleman out from Cax and Cox out here. So it was dicey to say the least, but think we have it under control now, and you'll have to let me know if everything looks okay, sounds okay. It has been an uphill battle, and I just decided to set up here in the living room, even though now I see the fucking sunlight is just pouring in behind me. We'll be back in the studio and doing things normally in just a couple of few. Yeah, so a little impromptu stream today. Thank you for checking out the stream. I assume that if you're in here already, then you already have the subscription going for the YouTube channel, which is great. Video sound great. Awesome, man. I appreciate that. That pre-show beat is dope, but holler at me. Dude, grimy. I could use a pre-show beat for Solid Dudes. Technically, this isn't Solid Dudes because it's just me, but if you'd like to hook us up with a little something that's I don't know, a little Outcast Bubba Sparks-esque, I certainly would like to incorporate that into the intro to this, whatever this is. So yeah, if you can hook it, that would be fantastic. And couple of things. One is I want to set this up. Not all of you that are going to be in here today are members of our super secret Facebook supporter group. And for those of you that are, appreciate you being here. I assume most of you know why I'm here already. And that is to hopefully, as the title says, clear the air on some of the things that I saw pop up in this chat. And of course, if you'd like to join, you can just go to facebook.com/chaddukesshow. I think it's $5 a month, and you get video back catalog. You get added to the conversation with what I call the vanguard of listeners of the show, which would be beneficial for me, and I think you would enjoy it as well. What's up, fan of radio? And what I would also like to throw out there is if anybody's in here right now, I assume that there's going to be people that watch this after they aren't watching live, that'll see it afterwards. If you have any questions, comments, queries, even critiques, let me know. That's kind of what I'm doing things a little differently here than I do on my show, which I is a show. It's meant to be an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is, of diversion. This is different than that, and I hope to clear that up today. So if you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments there, because it's just me in here today. So this past week I was at the beach doing live shows and doing recorded shows, and I was really satisfied with it. But it dawned on me when I got back and I read some fairly pointed criticism about some of the activities on the show recently, that I haven't necessarily done a great job of explaining what I'm trying to do to the audience, especially to the paying audience, to the people that plunk down the credit card each and every month and subscribe to my show, because they're the ones that, pay for my rent, they pay for my internet. That's my primary focus, is pleasing those people like John Page and Fan of Radio and Corey Rita and all those guys. There's my buddy Brian from Natural Red Catering, people that I know subscribe to the show. So I did a poor job of explaining what I'm trying to do on this YouTube channel, because it all kind of happened while I was going on vacation and doing beach shows. Can we make recommendations for backlog content to be added to the YouTube channel? Maybe, Michael, but let's wait until the end, and then you can hear what my thoughts are as far as how I want to set this thing up, and then we can talk about whatever you want, because recently I threw out the idea of offering a USB drive that has all of our CD exclusive episodes available to people to purchase on a USB drive. And I was fucking blown away at the variety of feedback that I got, and how many different people had different thoughts on how they thought that shit should go. Like, I had no idea there was so much consternation surrounding that. And I think, honestly, I could do a better job of it. Ultimately, all this is my call, and it's what I want to do. But I'm in the customer service business, and I want to listen to the people that are, willing to pay for my product. And so I need to do a better job of that. I was down at the beach, and I was doing beach shows. And for those of you that are familiar with the program, you know that I have done beach shows for over a decade now, and they're different than all the other shows I do. It's a lot of infighting. It's about what's going on at the beach. And simultaneously, this past time, I'm on this trip with friends of mine and we're getting into hijinks and chicanery. We start doing these Solid Dudes streams, which again, nothing that happens down at the beach is normal. Nothing that happens down at the beach is what I do normally on my show. And I think most people understand that, but there was a gentleman that didn't. So I wanted to take his criticisms and then go through them piece by piece, and then we can address them. Now, the guy that I'm going to post his comments here is a subscriber and has been a subscriber for a long time. And while I think I reached out to him and I spoke to him, and it sounds like he admitted kind of what I thought. Whenever I get a bunch of fucking comments or DMs or Facebook messages or whatever the fuck it is, at 1 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the morning, I can only kind of assume that somebody's having themselves a little bit too much evening. I've done it. You guys have probably done it. You get in your emotions when you're drinking. You say some shit. You send out a tweet you'd regret. You fucking fire off a message. You make plans that you don't mean. It just happens. You know, if you're going to imbibe alcohol or whatever it is you do, that shit happens. So I always kind of take it with a grain of salt. But when it's kind of very pointed criticism, instead of just, I'm going to block this motherfucker and you get out of here. This is a supporter chat for people that like the show. Take that shit somewhere else. You know, you can respond that way. And I've responded that way for many years. But, you know, it's different when someone's willing to pay for your product and they deserve some leeway. So that's what I'm offering here. And I kind of would like to throw out there, unless given additional reasons, I don't think any type of a pylon needs to happen or any type of a shit talking session needs to take place with what happens here. Hello, Kevin. Hello, CJ Fool. Hello, Michael Murphy. Hello, everybody. So I've pulled up, these were comments that were left in the Facebook super secret supporter chat that these are people that pay an additional $5 on top of the subscription fee. So these are people that are invested, and that's why I act a little differently in there than I do other places. And I hear Ripley panting over there. We're in my living room, so Ripley might become an issue if someone comes to the fucking door. It's going to become an issue. This is not very fucking professional of me. But once the Cox guy left and the internet upload speeds look fucking ridiculous, I'm like, let's just jump on and get this done with. So if you have any questions, comments, or queries, or want me to go into anything further, this is a bit of a narcissistic swimming like me that we're doing right here. But if you do have any of that shit, you can put it in the comments and I will address them. All right, let's go. I think if I do this, yeah, you guys will be able to check this out. All right, this is Ernesto, and he's listened for a very long time. He left 2 comments. This is the first one. It says, when Chad first started the podcast, I assume he means the Chaddukes Show, it was awesome. Genuine appreciation for supporters and his cast. Slowly, it morphed again into nonstop belittling of his supporting cast, which has become right down annoying. I assume he meant downright. Leads me to believe perhaps somebody was enjoying their evening. We all loved the Opie and anything banter. I'm going to assume he means Opie and Anthony. The difference is that everyone was fair game, so we got an amazing back and forth. Dukes doesn't allow anyone to talk shit on him or even bring up slightly negative points against him. This is getting old and uninteresting. We all love Chad. Stop being an asshat and come back to when you first started the podcast. Okay. I did not take this post down, by the way. I've got moderators. One of them thought it was getting a little ornery in the comments section, and the super secret supporter chat is for people to relax and have fun and talk about the show and other things. It's not necessarily the place for this. There's a million places on the internet where this shit happens every day. So I don't know. That's to start with. Couple of things here. One is I would disagree with Ernesto about, first, he's saying 2 things here. He's saying that a genuine appreciation for supporters and his cast. Yeah, I still have that. That's never wavered. I say it publicly all the time on lots of different episodes. Plenty of examples of appreciate Goat, appreciate Tuber, appreciate Jimmy, appreciate Tor. That's always and never wavered. The appreciation for the supporters and the people that subscribe, I'll let my actions speak for that. You can say that, but there's no evidence to support your claim, is what I would say. The amount of bonus content that I put up, I don't need a reference. The amount of stuff that I do in addition for subscribers, for people in the supporter chat, the heads up I give them on shit I'm doing, the prizes I give away, it just all speaks for itself. So you may not like me belittling my supporting cast, but that's completely separate than what you're accusing me of here, which is just simply not true. None of that is true. The part about me beating up the guys on the show, what I would say is if you don't like that or that's become old for you, okay, but that's not new. It's not new. I've been busting balls on every fucking show I've ever been on since the beginning of time. I did it when I was a caller to the Junkies. I did it when I was on with Oscar. I did it when I was on with LeVar. I did it when I was on with Bill Rowland, when I sat in on the Junkies, when I was doing the fucking 9-hour shows with Grant and Danny. It's a lot of ball breaking. Some people like it, some people don't. It's the style of radio I like. So you might be annoyed by it now, but what I would stipulate is that it isn't new. And it's been a staple of every show that I've done. And it stays on the show. Like, I don't get off the air and belittle Jim Jester. I don't get off the air and belittle Ant-Man. Well, maybe sitting around a bonfire with a couple of snifters of fucking bourbon in me, but and all those guys know that, and we've talked about it. And if there's problems, they come to me behind the scenes and we talk about it. But I can tell you there's never problems. Those guys all enjoy the shows and they all enjoy doing them, and it's been a blast. And the people that don't like it or becomes old for, you've seen them kind of weed themselves out. So to address that first part, I think you're conflating two issues. One of them is not true, and secondly, I don't think that's changed all that much on the show currently. The part where what does he say? The difference is that everyone was fair game, so we got an amazing back and forth. Dukes doesn't allow anyone to talk shit on him or even bring up slightly negative points against him. Well, I've been accused of this my whole career. I've heard this 10,000 times. Here's what I can tell you. One, it's my show. It's my show. Regardless of how popular it is or how many people are watching. Like right now, I'm looking at the counter. There are 71 people watching my YouTube stream. There are people that don't have 15-year radio careers that draw way better on YouTube. Now, I'm at the beginning parts of this thing. But what I would say to you is that you're saying something that everyone has said my entire career. So if it's true, fine, but I've still managed to put on shows. The hosts don't take as much shit as everybody else. If you don't understand that, you don't understand radio. The way that I got into radio was just getting shit on by the Junkies. I was Chad the Stalker. I was a whipping boy. The way many people are when they get into fucking radio. And some people can't take it, and some people it doesn't work out for. But yeah, I'm the host, so I'm not going to take as much shit. What I can promise you is I have never, not once, gone to any of the people that are on my show and say, hey, you better not take a shot at me. You better not insult me. And I also kind of find that humorous considering the monster argument I recently got in with the Tube on the Fortress Film Society. Like, I disagree with those guys constantly, politically, my worldview, certainly views on movies, and somehow we're able to cobble together a show. I don't know what slightly negative points you think people are going to bring up on the show, but I can assure you there's a list of about 2 or 3 things in my personal life that I wouldn't want someone to bring up on the show, but it's also 2 or 3 things that I wouldn't bring up about somebody else. So is there a modicum of truth to what you're saying? Maybe, in that I don't take a lot of shit on my own show. You're right. But if you want to find places where I take shit, look everywhere else. Put my name into Twitter right now and look at the fucking thousands of people celebrating my canceling, celebrating my demise, saying vicious, horrible fucking things. There's entire communities on websites devoted to saying I'm a piece of shit. So I don't know. Like, if you need people to say nasty things about me to enjoy my show, I don't know that you're going to get that. If you want to find people that like to say nasty things about me, you have resources, the likes of which you don't even know about, or maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe you frequent those places. I don't really concern myself with them. I try to stay away because I try to stay focused on what I think is best for my show. So I do take shit on my show. I take way less shit than everybody else because it's my show, because I pay the rent, because the studio. Is there a mandate? No. If Tor wants to bust my balls, or if fucking Joe wants to bust my balls, or whomever, they have carte blanche to do that, other than a couple of personal things, is what I would say. People that are not affiliated with the program. So that's my response to that. And I've received that criticism lots over my career. So I'm not saying it's not completely without some merit. I just don't think it's phrased properly. And I also don't think that it's accurate in the way you think that it goes down behind the scenes. So I think that's everything in the first comment. Again, this is in my subscriber chat. This is in my supporter chat for my show. I did not pull this from fucking MySpace or 4chan or some horse shit. This is somebody who subscribes to my show and then also subscribes to my Facebook page through 3 o'clock in the morning, vomiting all this shit out. So look, this is more, I don't feel the need to defend myself, but I get these criticisms a lot. So I figure answering them in this form, I can refer people back to this video and then hopefully there can be some clarity. Here is the second piece of his criticism. And this is one that I take very seriously because I do charge for a product. If I'm McDonald's and somebody gets a toenail in their fucking Big Mac, like I want to figure out what the fuck happened. That's the way that it goes. See, quote, Joe says, I'm a taker and I feel appreciated. Also, if I were a cast member, you could bust my nuts anytime. That's pretty gross, Joe. But yeah, a taker means, well, here's what I can tell you, Joe, is that if everybody listened the way you did, I wouldn't be doing shows because I'd be back at Home Depot. So luckily, I appreciate you fucking listening to this or doing whatever you can. But luckily, everyone that listens doesn't have that mindset because I can pay my bills. That's the way I would answer that. All right, this one is from, I believe this happened before the last comment, but I'm not sure. It's around the same time. Ernesto says, why am I paying for a premium subscription when the Fortress Film Society now has its own podcast feed? YouTube is posting freely contact that I paid for. I assume he means content, some which I wasn't going to get because I wasn't an original subscriber. That is not true. That is simply false. That is simply false. I assume what he is referring to is the Founders Fiesta. Those are not on the YouTube channel. The Mandalorian Season 1 recap, that is not on the YouTube channel. The very first bourbons of the Round Table, that is not on the YouTube channel. That is all the content. And then, of course, there's the Founders Fiesta 2. What he's referring to here is when I first started out my show, everyone that signed up before I went live, they were called Founders. And they got 3 bonus episodes that nobody else got access to. And then every year I do something called the Founders Fiesta, which is a big-ass fucking long show. I think 4 or 5 hours that only founders can listen to. And then after a year's time goes by, then I fucking, I release it for everybody else. He must think that that's somewhere on the YouTube. It isn't. If you take a look at the YouTube videos, it's my old radio file shows. I'll get to all that. The part about why am I paying a premium subscription when the Fortress Film Society now has its own podcast feed? Okay. I could see you maybe being irked about that. That is true. The Fortress Film Society has its own podcast feed. That is one episode that I do every other week at the most. One episode I do every other week. If that chaps your ass, I'll give you that one. Okay. You're paying for it, and then it goes up online for free. I could see that being an issue. I can less see that being an issue considering how much other shit you get. Like if you're going to quibble about that, well, then I got to bring up the fact that I can't remember the last time I did a 1-hour episode. I mean, they're all longer than what the fucking contract says it's going to be. There's been a million hootenannies. There's been a million bonus episodes. I got to say, if you're going to be pissed about that, okay, because technically that's something that subscribers get that then potentially goes up for free. I can tell you no one's listening to the Fortress Film Society on the iTunes feed. You go take a look at the numbers yourself. That's more of a vanity thing. I'm proud of that show. I like talking about movies. I wanted more people to be able to hear it, but it nothing ever works. The people that care. It's the same 400 people that are in the subscribers. If they continue to care about me, I'll continue to do this. If not, the idea of spreading this thing to something bigger, I don't have those tools right now. So again, I'll even be willing to grant you that one, but I would think that if I was in a court of law, I would go up and say, Your Honor, take a look at the fucking tomes of fucking content that have been provided in addition that is in excess. Does one not balance out the other? But that is up for debate. The second part that you posted here, YouTube is posting freely content I paid for. That's not true. That's just not true. And the Friday show, which was special, Now it's 4 guys in the same house recording for YouTube for clickbait. Recording for YouTube for clickbait. I don't understand that. If he's referring to this past Friday, I would say that I already had the hay in the barn. Here's why this is frustrating to me. And I'll say this if Ernesto, if you watch this is why this is frustrating to me. And I'm going to say that you were drunk or whatever when you fucking sent this in, and it's all good. Like, it's water under the dam as far as I'm concerned. But I have never fucking taken a vacation from this show. Never. I haven't taken one fucking day off since I started this show. Now you could say, Dukes, you're off on Fridays. Here's what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is I offered a product where I specifically laid out what I would be offering. I've gone above and beyond to not miss a day to make sure that there is an episode there. The balls that it takes for you to, by the way, incorrectly say that this is what Friday shows have become. Are you talking about the Friday Night Hootenanny? Is that what you're referring to? Because I hate to tell you, usually it's 4 guys sitting around busting each other's balls while eating hot dogs. The only time we've ever recorded anything in the house was this past Friday, which, again, by the way, all the hay was in the fucking barn. I had already provided everything for the subscribers that I was contractually obligated to do. On top of that, I had Jester take all of these episodes of Solid Dudes, put them together, and post those on for easily, readily accessible for subscribers. I don't do that for the YouTube people. I don't do that for anybody else. You say it's for clickbait. Okay, maybe you don't like those shows as much as you do the shows where I'm sitting down and talking about video games or UFOs or whatever the fuck. That's cool. You don't ever have to listen to them. And now, if you think the quality of the shows on YouTube is not up to my standards, I kind of agree with you. I've said it, I think, on 3 or 4 episodes. I don't understand this. I don't understand the 4 guys in 4 different quadrants talking a bunch of shit and not ever getting anything. But people like it and people enjoy it. And I think I can put my spin on it, and it could be a nice supplement to my show. On top of that, I need to pay my fucking bills. My health insurance is expensive. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. My internet is expensive. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. I'd like to be able to go to the beach. I'd like to be able to keep my home, the things that I've built. I'd like to be able to pay my taxes. If I can provide another revenue stream, potentially through YouTube by getting a station monetized, and I also like to point that out, a lot of what I'm doing right now is to get the fucking station monetized. There's certain parameters that I have to hit that I have nothing to do with. That YouTube says, hey, you got to do this if you want to use our fucking forum. And I don't even fault them for it. It's their website. They built this infrastructure. It's fine. But a lot of times, if I'm doing shows or I'm doing streams or I'm posting out episodes, it's because I want people to fucking hit the mark of 4,000 hours. And then I can do whatever I want. I can take super chats. I can monetize. I can have advertising. All the other things you see everybody else doing on YouTube, by the way. Pick your favorite fucking YouTube channel. They're trying to make money. So, recorded for YouTube for clickbait. I don't know if it's clickbait. Clickbait is, here is a misleading article title that I'm hoping you're dumb enough to click on because that's how I earn my living. I'm trying to get people to listen to hours and hours. It does not behoove me to put up shit, because then people are going to listen for 3 seconds, say, this is shit, and then keep it moving. So, yeah, I don't understand that part of it either. The final portion here. Help me understand this, because it seems like the good old Dukes hate everything until it benefits him. Then it's 100% okay to use. Well, I mean, maybe I don't recall ever saying that about YouTube. I use YouTube all the time. I assume you're referring to when I didn't want an iPhone, or when, what's another one? Inception. I didn't want to watch the movie Inception because everybody was writing and raving about it, and then I liked it. Yeah, I mean, there's cases of me doing that throughout my history in throughout my life, but I don't think this is one of them because I don't ever remember railing against YouTube. Also, I can provide you this. After I got all fucked up and I was getting called, I invite a lot of you to go through something where you're trying to be funny and do something you've already always done. And then the world changes around you into what I consider a fairly insane place. And then people are calling you the most despicable names, accusing you of atrocities. I was a little shell shocked, to be honest with you. I don't talk a lot about it because you're not here for that. You're here for guffaws and laughs and jocularity, and I respect that. But I was pretty fucking shell shocked for about a year. I was. And the beautiful thing about the paywall is that I had protection. I had my own Dyson sphere sitting inside. Enterprise D sends out a little signal. We eat it up. Of course, then you have, who was it? Jordy and fucking Scotty. They put the older ship in the middle. They plug it open. The D can escape. They beam them out. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. The reason why I'm on YouTube now, Urok's been trying to get me on YouTube since I started this. And he was right. I should have. If 2.5 years ago I would have started being on YouTube, I'd have 10,000 subscribers right now. I really do believe that. I really do believe that. I'd already been monetized. But I wasn't fucking ready. And I didn't want it. And I'm not as strong as a lot of other broadcasters that are just impervious to people saying heinous, hideous shit about them. Like, I don't want that. I don't like it. I don't go to Reddit. I don't go to places where I know people are saying horrible things about me because I don't want to read it. You can say it all you want. I always quote Jim Norton. You're allowed to stand outside the window calling me an asshole, but I reserve the right to shut the fucking window. That's kind of where my mindset's at. So I don't remember hating YouTube. You're certainly listing behavior that I have demonstrated in the past, which we could argue whether or not that has hurt or benefited me. I don't know. But I also don't mind making light of that. Like, that is a character flaw of mine. I hate it when there's a big group of fucking people screaming and yelling about something. It annoys me. I don't know why. A lot of times I'm right. You guys thought the Harlem Shake was hilarious. You guys thought planking was really funny. You guys wear Crocs. I'm right about all that. I'm right. So plenty of shit I was wrong about. Inception, great fucking movie. iPhones, really cool. It's a big, long list that goes on both sides of that. So what I thought I could do here now is, and I don't believe that everybody agrees with Ernesto, but I think that there's people that look at parts of that and they're like, yeah, I kind of don't get that too. This YouTube channel has very little to do with my daily show. I'm going to go in tomorrow and I'm going to bang out 2 shows with Tor. I got a story about almost getting attacked by a bear. I got thoughts on the Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay that we've seen. I got movie thoughts. I got TV thoughts. I've got football thoughts. All the stuff that I always have. I'm going to do a show. That is very different than what I do here. And quite frankly, I think that's better. The stuff you're paying for, I think, is a better product than this shit. Could it one day become all one of the same? I don't know. But I'm 44 years old. I would like to continue doing some form of this until I can't anymore. I want to be Don Imus or any of these other fucking old bastards that have to be dragged away from the fucking microphone. People are always fucking bitching and moaning about Howard Stern continuing to broadcast the age he is. I'm like, why? We're sitting and talking. Like, if he was a roofer, it's like, all right, physically, you're not going to be able to do this anymore. But we can sit and talk forever. Performing. I enjoy performing. I enjoy this. I enjoy making jokes. I enjoy hanging out with friends, busting balls, having a good time. That's what I enjoy. So if this can help me continue to do that, and God forbid, look, I suffer no delusions. I don't think anyone's going to listen to this horse shit and then be like, I've got to really be a part of what this guy's doing. I'm going to plunk down a credit card. I don't think that. But I can't hide behind a paywall for the rest of my life. I can't. I didn't do that every single day on the radio. There were people listening to me that hated me, that said awful things, that called up, that tried to get me fired, that went on websites, talked a bunch of shit, said mean, evil, too personal shit because they didn't like what I said about their favorite football team. It comes with the territory. So basically what I'm trying to do here is set myself up for, if I can put a product out there that people enjoy casually and it potentially draws them into what I think is really awesome, which I mean, the product that I'm fucking proud of, and that's the Chad Duke Show. I'm proud of that fucking show and the content we put out and all the guys that helped me do that. I got a good group of people that work with me on that fucking show. That's what I'm trying to do here. And the Solid Dudes show is not going to be the Chad Duke Show. So I hope to understand this better. A lot of the stuff you said, these two, I think is incorrect. Some of it has some. I would also think that the best way to handle it, I've always said this, is I'm probably too accessible. I think I could really help myself by being really more aloof and not being so available all the time because it comes across as needy. Probably is. I think one of the reasons people love Drab and Othello and those guys is they're mysterious. You don't really get a lot from them until you do. I've never been good at that. I'm kind of, the valve's wide open. If you want my DMs are open. I answer all my Instagram messages. I'm an easy guy to get a hold of. So if you have questions like these, I would always say it's a better idea to just shoot them towards me, because to me, this comes across as an axe to grind. But it's also not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. And I didn't do a very good job of kind of explaining what I'm looking to do with this outlet. So hopefully this goes that way to help that. All right. I have a lot of fucking comments here. Let's go through some of these. And if you guys want to respond to anything that was said here, anything that I said, or if you agree with anything Ernesto said, or you want some further clarification, please, the floor is yours. Spider Clem said, if you're a subscriber, you think he would want you to get as much exposure as possible. Well, he's paying for a product. I'm not so sure when I go into Cracker Barrel, I'm worried about their exposure. I just want fucking breakfast. You know what I mean? And I'll get this because we all subscribe because of the content and support the show. The YouTube page's extra content helps support the show. Why would you have a problem with that? Again, I think for potentially what Spider Clam said is that you're paying for a product and this is just available for free. Every promise, it's hard to fathom someone complaining. Thank you so much for all the entertainment, Chip. My pleasure, Tom. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Your YouTube show has encouraged me to becoming a subscriber. Congrats. Well, congrats to you, Joe. I think you're going to enjoy the content. I'm very excited. Same. Not once have Courtney and I ever felt underappreciated. This is an amazing group of people. We love being a part and fully support all the chat. Well, thank you, Elizabeth. That's very nice. And you've been with me for a very long time that you mean that. Danny Diaz says, I love listening to you guys sitting at a table with dogs at the straight shoot. Yeah, I enjoy that too. That's something that I enjoy as well. 1299 goes to cover premium episodes and the development of continued growth of the show's product and brand, still getting what you subscribe to plus additional content. Well, HMAC, another thing I'd like to point out is maybe Ernesto didn't subscribe to the Big O and Duke show, but Big O and Dukes did a free fucking episode every, and then we charge $9.99 for one bonus episode a week. $9.99 for one bonus episode a week. People paid for it. Appreciate it. That seems like a ripoff. I think maybe some people forget that. This whole model that I have now is based off Big O and Dukes Reloaded. And when those guys decided they didn't want to do the show anymore, I said, how can I use that business model but do a better job? Or offer up more bang for the buck while still paying my bills? Yes, paying my bills is an important part of this. So keep that in mind. I pay for a subscription to support the shows I like, regardless of getting exclusive perks or not. Well, yeah. And I agree with that, Lawnmower Dude. Like, I am a supporter over on Headlock Gaming. I'm a supporter on Honeybee. I don't really get anything for that. But you know what I get? Those guys can continue doing what they do. They provide content that I enjoy consuming. And so if I just sit there and don't ever contribute in any way, shape, or form, then when that shit goes away, because those guys have to take Joe jobs, they have to go fucking work at Applebee's because nobody's paying for their content, then who's fucked? So if I can pay the $4.99 and be like, hey, I'm helping out. I'm sending you some stars. I'll do my part. Yeah, I think you make a really good point. Oh, boy. You could definitely bring your subscribers YouTube's premium content paywall. No, you don't understand. This is the part of the business that I think people are confused by. If you see all these podcasts on Patreon, you see all these podcasts, YouTube premium, they have to pay YouTube and Patreon. They take a chunk. Right now, you know who takes a chunk? I'm pretty chunky. Like, I've got to pay Stripe, and I've got to pay the people that help me out with the show, but my subscribers go to me. I have that infrastructure. So I hope that makes sense. Oh boy. Check out the YouTube live. Are you able to stream in people live? Almost any like taking callers. That's something you eventually get to when you acquire it. No, I can bring anybody on here I want. I've got a thing right here. I've got a fucking hold on. Let's see if he can jump on. All right, let's see if he can jump on. Give me 1 second. I'll see if he can jump on real quick. Yeah, that's another thing that's good about this is that I can have conversations with people that don't have to be in the studio. I think that's a really good thing. I was a long-time listener for years and just now getting back into your content thanks to the recent YouTube videos, becoming a subscriber now. Cheers. It's fantastic. It's fantastic, Nick. Thank you. Not sure if you made it. Busted my balls. I'm going to take you at your word. Thank you. That's as good as it gets right there. And I hope that Ernesto or anyone else that feels the way that he does, that is the goal of all of this. That is the goal. Because I'm real proud of that shit. And I think people will like it. It's as good as I can do. Like, that show's as good as I can do. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You better believe they'll get their cut in Fairfax and VA too. Oh, yeah. Well, Fairfax and Virginia get a shitload of my money. The state of Virginia and the state of Fairfax get a shitload of my money. So, yeah, I would say that's true as well. All right. Let me, I guess he's not going to join. Let me see if this guy will. I'm just trying to give you an example right now of how easy it is in case anybody else wants to do it. All right. There. I just sent the link. Send them the link. Oh, boy. All right. What's up, John Page? You running a business and trying to find ways, but yeah, absolutely. Oh, shit. Hold on. There he is.
How's it going?
Hey, how are you, brother?
Man, it's great to talk to you. Washboard Breezy's here with me.
That's awesome, man. Well, this doesn't really have much to do with you, but somebody asked, could I bring you on like via a link? And I said, yeah, I think so. So I wanted to see if you would jump on. But Rev, we need to do the UFO show on here like as soon as possible.
Oh, dude, what's happening in the last few months has been unbelievable. I don't understand how it's not the biggest story, not in the United States, but in the whole world. It's so frustrating to me. I mean, since we did the last podcast, it's like people just cease to talk about it. And now there's so much information, so many people coming forward. We're starting to see people like Bob Lazar looking like they're going to be vindicated after all these years. It's frustrating to me. I don't know if it's just that that people don't want to believe it, or if it's they just trust the government so much that even when the government comes out and tells them something that discloses something they don't want to believe. I don't understand it. Why do you think no one cares that this is happening?
Because I think we've become so tribal that so everyone is so wrapped up in we are fighting the fight of our lives, both morally and ethically in this country and everywhere else, that narcissism is bloomed completely in a way we never thought that it would, and the aliens don't fit that fucking I cannot make aliens all about myself as easily as I can make who you're going to vote for, or whether or not you're a communist or a fascist or whatever the fuck that it is. Yeah. The crazy part about this, though, Rev, and this is where we're really pushing the limits. This fucking guy Grush, I watched a video today. I don't know if you saw, I tweeted it. A guy went and had 12 different people come to him and corroborate that story and say, yeah, we've got multiple craft. And by the way, we have a body. And the second there is an alien body anywhere in custody, everybody should fucking cease that's grainy video. I don't believe those lights. That could be anything. That's something we all need to be focusing on.
Man, and by all accounts, this guy is highly regarded, beyond reproach. There's no real reason for him to come forward and put his good name and his career on the line, it makes no sense. Someone told me the other day, they said, well, he's maybe going to try to sell a book. And I said, how much is a book on this going to be worth? The news won't even cover it. I mean, he's going to sell a few books and then trade his entire career for it. I mean, who reads books anyway? It's not, it doesn't make sense.
Well, it's also, he's going to write a book on what? He just gave us all the meat. Like, he gave us all the juicy details.
He testified before Congress. Yeah. He testified before Congress under oath. I mean, that's a crime if it's not true. He committed a crime. Here's a felony.
The one part, though, and Rogan said this, he's like, what you also have to take into account is that it's very possible government agent, very possible. I don't know anything about that. Was it Newsmax? I forgot who went on, where he went on. But it was like a situation where, is that funded by the government? Like, is this a disinformation campaign because we're not supposed to look at X, Y, and Z? Like, I feel like that's always something that we have to take into account.
Well, I mean, you know, let's say this. Let's say it is, right? Let's say it's a vast disinformation campaign. Let's say this whole thing has been a misdirection, right? Let's say the videos that the Air Force and the Navy released the last few years, let's say it's all disinformation. That alone should be the biggest story, right? I mean, that in and of itself, why would the government be doing that then? Let's talk about this. That alone should make it the biggest story in the world right now. And you know, I got in an argument last night with a guy, actually, because he was kind of saying similar stuff. And I said, man, what is the reason? You know, what's the reason? Why would if the government really wants to you know, he was talking about military industrial complex and wanting, you know, it's like, no, that's not how it works. We would just get ourselves in another war. Right. That's what we've always done. You know, and because the whole United States will be behind that. We always are. You can't even get people to talk about this. The New York Times won't touch it. The Washington Post won't touch it.
Which is weird because the way this whole conversation, and Ant-Man's here. Hello, Ant-Man. How are you, by the way, buddy?
Good, guys.
Ant-Man.
What up, Rev?
The thing that's so crazy about this also is the reason why we're having these conversations and it's so socially acceptable is because those mainstream media outlets finally decided to bring the conversation up and give it authenticity. And now that we have way more knowledge and way more detail, and we know vastly more we did, they've all withdrawn again because they're going back to their tribalism. They're going back to there's an election cycle coming up. And to defend them for a second, Rev, which I hate doing, maybe it doesn't drive the clicks. Maybe fucking aliens don't get as many clicks as Donald Trump is a fascist. And so they have a job to do, and they're going to want to fucking make their money. So unfortunately, it could be as simple as all that as well.
You know, you might be right. Usually it is as simple. You know, when people tell me, they say, well, why has it been a secret? You know, and they'll say, you know, you have people theorize, maybe it's because it'll upset the fabric of our society. Or no, I don't believe any of that. I think the reason it's been kept a secret is because we had technology that we wanted to reverse engineer before the Russians or the Chinese or anyone else did, because whoever was able to reverse engineer that was going to control the world in a way that is unprecedented. You know, millennia into the future, right? That's as simple as that. And you say, well, how do you keep it a secret? Well, if you put the fear of that into people's minds, say, look, if we disclose this, if this technology were reverse engineered by someone else before we do, it will destroy us. That's a pretty strong argument, yes. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's it. It's as simple as that. I don't think it's any more complex than that. I think that's all it is. Right. I don't think that there's any kind of like, oh, we're afraid it's going to upset the fabric of our society. No, I don't think that's it. I think it's just simply about that. If that technology so far into the future, so far advanced, then and think about it, it would. I mean, if you could take a micronation, and if suddenly they had craft that was, you know, operating 10,000 years into the future, they could control the planet.
Right.
You know, I mean, it wouldn't even have to be a superpower. If you reverse engineer gravity propulsion, and you are now the superpower, right?
100%. Whoever masters that technology first will be able to control. I mean, they'll have transmedium craft. They'll have fucking. All right, look, we're blowing our loads. When can you this week? Are you guys out on tour? Where are you at right now,
brother? I leave for Europe tomorrow.
Of course you do. Of fucking course you do. Well, how is the internet in Europe? I can't imagine.
It's not bad. I mean, you know, and actually, I'm going to have my phone on. It's not going to work at 100% because, just the nature of the situation. But I'm going to
Sure.
be mostly in Western Europe. I'm paying to have my phone on. There's Wi-Fi. Now, the time is going to be, between my normal sleep schedule and being 6 hours ahead, it's going to be a mess. But we've got to get this figured out because it's incredible what's happening.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Give me 24 hours notice when you're gonna have like a 4-hour chunk in the next week, and I won't be able to promote it as much as I like, but we'll make it happen, and then people can check out the replay or whatever afterwards. Is that cool?
Yeah, that sounds good. And we'll take some of that communication into text and stuff, so we won't bore these folks with it.
Did you see that Kenny Kidd is playing the Big Damn Band on a regular basis, man?
Yes, I love it, man. I've been retweeting every time he posts it.
Dude, last night I was listening. I forgot he was playing. I think he was playing Ways and Means, and I just like, what the fuck? Like, it always catches me. I'm like, oh, this is great. It's a meeting of the worlds.
And I love that there's Ways and Means too, because that as an artist, you always want more people to hear your art, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that Ways and Means wasn't the absolute biggest thing we ever did absolutely pissed me off. Like legitimately made me mad.
I love that. All right, let's give me a text and then give Breezy my best, and let's work it out for this week. All right.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks so much.
There he is, Rev Payton, everybody.
Hey, Rev.
He's the absolute best. It's my guy. Oh, I booted him off. God damn it. I'm sorry, Rev. I didn't mean to do it. Somebody tweet the Rev and tell him I didn't mean to do that, please. Hey, man, I'm sorry, but like you were. No offense, you were upstage if Rev Payton wants to come on the show. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No problem. I completely understand.
All right, real quick.
Yeah.
Have I ever come to you and said, you're not allowed to bust my balls on the show?
No.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I feel like I'm being overly sensitive to this, but I don't know if you saw all the criticisms that I got. I wanted to address those here.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure everybody understands that it is my show. I'm not going to get my balls busted as much as everybody else does. But also, what about the show? Everyone, I don't necessarily need to scream at anybody. You guys all just rip each other to shreds on a regular basis on the program.
Yeah, and I feel like if you did something like really stupid like Joe or Jimmy did, I think it would be easier. But usually by the time I catch on to a flub that you've made, it's already been 10 minutes. Like it's taken me 10 minutes to figure it out.
Hold on,
and by that time,
I got what you did, you dumb son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. It's already gone past the time where it's my opportunity to bust your balls, and I've forgotten about it. And Jimmy said something ridiculous, and it's much more fun to attack those guys.
I just real quick, and I'll wrap things. First of all, are we swimming later? It's fucking hot as balls out.
Definitely. I'm in here shipping cards, sweating my ass off. It's miserable.
Jesus Christ. This is actually a point. I think that's Coy Rita, by the way. I'm not sure. But if anything, Chad tries to keep the circus under control.
Yeah.
A lot of times, especially on Tuesday nights, my job is just wrangling all of the drunken shenanigans. Like, I do think there's a lot of that too. I don't want to spend an enormous amount of time talking about Jester's penis, but I figure since you're here, you're the only one that has seen it the way that you saw it. Yeah. Now that you have a couple of days to digest and to think about it, like, do you feel the same way about it? I can't get away from the fact that he's going to see doctors about getting a vasectomy. And none of them are saying, what the fuck are you doing? You've got to fix your penis before we do anything else.
Yeah, so I definitely feel the same way. My dad asked me this morning how the trip was, what all happened, and I couldn't even keep it from them. I go, Dad, Jimmy...
You told Mark and Kathy?
Well, Kathy wasn't there. But I said,
thank God.
I said, Dad, my friend has a broken dick, and he hasn't fixed it in 3 years. And we've been trying to figure out why he has such a small penis, and it finally came out.
There's no way Mark wants to hear you say that. There's no way he can be happy about that.
So he just looks at me and he goes, "You did what?" I said, "Well, somebody had to look at it because we couldn't believe him that it was broken." And then he was like intrigued, and he was like, "So is it really broken?" I'm like, yes,
because it is very interesting, Because I guess it does happen more than we think, but I've never met anybody with a broken penis. So
No, never. I would have never even looked to see that it could happen. I just didn't know it was a thing until Jimmy told me.
So I got a text from Joe that says we're going to see him next week. I don't think he's coming out for anything. He needs a full week to recover, which to me is hilarious. For those people that don't know, Smoky Mountain Joe has been on vacation for 2 fucking weeks.
Yeah.
He was on a fishing trip with his parents for a full week, then came down to the beach for the full week, and now I guess is ossified in his bedroom. He can't get up and fucking do anything at all for at least 7 days. I wonder what happens to that guy. Like, he really must be traumatizing himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because of how when he first started hanging out, he would eat so much food. I mean, he had like 15 lobster rolls that one day and was fine and drank the rest of the day and hung out and never had any problems. And he has 120-ounce steak with some mashed potatoes
almost
and
kills him.
asparagus. Yeah.
Pulls what I like to call a money monk is what I call it.
Yeah.
Hey man, is that your bedroom or is that the card room?
No, this is the office. It's got like my dad's swords are back there from when he was
so
in
that's
the
your
Marine
dad's.
Corps.
Is that your dad's office?
Yeah, so this is where the computer is, and then it's got all my dad's signed baseballs, the Derek Jeter stuff. We've got
You can't take the computer into your card room, can you?
I can't right this minute. Kathy's up there. There's a Jeter signed jersey with some World Series rings, and then my dad has like all these autographed baseballs up there.
Can we do an Ant-Man Cribs at some point where you take us into your bedroom and then you take us into the card room and then we see can we see the grandfather clock that you smash into?
Oh yeah, I think I can.
Can you show us that?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me walk out there.
For those people that don't know, this is when Ant-Man goes down the stairs to smash the Blackberry Cobbler. Are those up? That's all the baseball cards?
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to work on today.
Jesus Christ.
And then
that's it.
That is the
So is that those are the staircases the staircase you fall down and you hit that clock?
Yep, right down there.
And where's the fridge? Where's the fridge with the cobbler?
Back there.
All right, so you fall down the stairs, you hit the grandfather clock, then you go get the cobbler, you take it back up the stairs, and then you eat it in your room and pass out.
Yep. Money Monk would lose his mind with all those bananas.
Well, you guys have a lot of bananas.
Oh yeah.
Must be doing really well for yourself. Oh, the internet's not good enough for us to see the rose bush you pissed in, is it?
No, I could definitely take a picture though. And send it to you so you could upload it next time.
Yeah. Send it to me. We'll do Ant-Man Cribs. We'll see all the fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I wrapped my headset cord around the chair, and then when I went to pull back, it almost yanked me down.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of requests to see the rose bush, so we're gonna have to make that happen next time. Just text it to me, and then I can just upload it here, and I can push it up.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely do that.
That didn't sound the way that I wanted it to do. All right. Well, I think we've accomplished everything we need to accomplish. Anything out of you? Are you going to be at the show on Tuesday?
Yeah, I'll be there on Tuesday, and I'm excited to hear Rev talk about these aliens because I've been looking at this all week. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable.
And by the way, Jeffrey Katz will be joining me back on this show tomorrow. So the Solid Dudes show, I'll be streaming live with him because I believe Pope's Exorcist is out now on VOD. So he wants to promote that, give us an update. We can talk movies and shit like that.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Lori wants to. Okay, here's everyone that do me a favor. Whatever you want to see on Ant-Man Crib, don't do it yet.
Oh, okay.
Don't do it yet.
Okay.
We got to keep some things as the big reveal.
Okay.
All right. Anything you want to see on Ant-Man Cribs, shoot it over to us, and then we will make it. Oh, I want to see. Can I put in a request?
Yep.
I need a picture of the cable box that every Verizon guy runs over when they come to your house.
Okay, hold on. I can start writing this down.
Right there.
My memory is terrible.
Okay.
All right. Cable box.
The treadmill.
All right.
An office, a grandfather clock, and a baseball card room. This man is living a life of luxury. I'll say. Everybody wishes they were eating as good as Ant-Man is.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so your bedroom.
Okay.
And the baseball card room. And I want to see that drawer full of cards that you whiffed on and it cost you thousands of dollars. What were those cards again?
The Project 2020s. I have slowly been getting rid of them, but I still probably have several hundred in there, about 15 a piece.
Write that down, please. I want to check that out.
Yeah.
Lori wants to see the tiny TV that you watch MASH on. Is that a thing?
Oh yeah. When I'm on the treadmill, I'm watching MASH in the back room.
Everybody remembers everything.
I watch MASH and there's another one with the cop that's kind of dumb.
I thought you watched
Andy
Hogan.
Griffith
I thought
and
Hogan's Heroes.
I watched that too. All three of those.
Is the cop that's kind of dumb Barney Fife?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It'd be nice if you could learn that. That's one of a iconic television character.
Yeah, I know. I always forget. I remember Opie though.
Yes. Do you know who plays Opie?
I do not.
That is Ron Howard, who directed what? Can you name another sitcom that Ron Howard was on?
Was he on the one with all the kids?
That's right, the one with all the kids.
Partridge Family.
That's right. Brady Bunch, all of them. Pat Reynolds wants to see where Ant-Man was conceived. Oh, I don't want to see that.
Oh,
no, we can't.
Yeah, that
we
ain't.
Can't
here.
invade Mark and Kathy's privacy for this.
Yeah, that's in California anyway.
What about the morning cup of coffee that Kathy makes for Anthony? Oh yeah, can we see where the Kathy where the coffee's made?
Yeah, I mean it's right by that refrigerator. Jesus,
by the refrigerator.
Yeah, the coffee machine's like right next to the fridge.
All right, write that down too, please.
Yep, I got it.
Man, Ant-Man Cribs is going to be a fucking banger. I can't wait. All right. I think we've accomplished everything we need to do here. I think I've been petty enough.
That sounds good. I can't wait to go swimming in a couple hours.
All right, yeah. What time is it?
2:30.
Yeah, I think 4. If you want to come over at 4:30, that should be fine.
Okay, cool.
Is that cool?
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody.
All right, gang. Yeah, please smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the fucking, the bell, so you know whenever we go live. This could happen at any moment. And if you do have any problems or questions or queries for your pal or for Ant-Man, just feel free to shoot me a message. You know what I mean? Like, no reason why we have to make this everybody else's business. All right, brand new episode of the Chaddukes Show at 2 p.m. on fucking, what is it? What's the day? Monday. On Monday. I'll figure that out at some point. I will see you then, and we'll roll out trash cans.